Hello
There.
there.
Hey, it's kind of late in the day there for you, right?
It's late in the day, but early in the evening.
Okay. Well, what time is it there?
It is 5:45.
Quarter to six. Okay. Well, it's not late.
Quarter to 6 p.m. Well,
Yeah.
I'm getting to be a little bit like like those nice Jewish ladies in Florida. The dinner special starts at 4 p.m.
Well, you better beat your reform friends to the dinner table. They might get there early.
Yeah, I know how that works. Yeah. That's half the day they exercise, and the other half they try to get to the dinner table.
Well, absolutely. So, I hope you've had a good day. Now, I see that there's been some earthquakes in your region.
Hey, region. Is California and Texas's reason?
No,
Well, I think we're
but I
further
tell you,
away, but I'm
well,
not sure actually. There were aftershocks or tremors or something. Some people here in Israel felt it. I further up north, not by us, because Syria and Turkey are north of Israel, and I'm in the south of Israel.
yeah, it's like things going on in New England. We don't even know about it in Texas.
And why
I
would you want
remember,
to?
I remember even Houston is so big. I remember one time my father called. He lived in another state, wanted to know how we were doing in the storm. And I said, "What storm?" Even Houston is so big, I didn't know we were having a storm. But those earthquakes do have a way of becoming local, though. I remember one year when Peggy and I were in Israel for the feast, and it was over. So we sent our group home, and we stayed over to have a little time to ourselves. And we were there at the used to be called the Hyatt on Mount Scopus, something else now.
Now
So
it's
we
called the
were,
Dan. Now it's called the Dan Hotel on Mount Scott.
yeah, it was the Hyatt when we opened it. We actually opened it in the mid 80s. They didn't have their phones connected yet. We were the first people there with our
That's
group.
cool.
So anyway, this one year we stayed over, and we were up on the top floor in the owner's suite.
Uh-huh. Wow.
Yeah, that was real nice. And so there was an earthquake in Cyprus. Now, is
Okay.
that is that in your region or not? Well, it came up through Israel, up to Syria and Turkey. So I'm uh, at the sink shaving,
I'm
and
sorry?
all I was at the sink in the room shaving, and all of a sudden the sink starts moving. Yeah, I'm holding on to the sink and said, what is going on here? So Peggy's sitting on the bed, putting her house shoes, slippers on, and the floor starts moving, just barely, gradually. But we realize, wow, is this the big one Zachariah was talking about?
Evidently not.
Because we're right there at the Mount of Olives on the north slopes of it on Scopus. So we called down to the front desk to inquire, and they didn't even know it was happening. So we learned that the higher up you are, the more you feel the earthquake. So if you're going to be in an earthquake prone region, stay on the lower floors. So anyway, these earthquakes in your region have a way of getting to be local, even though they may be a distance away.
Yeah.
But
And every time,
it does affect you though, because I saw where BB said they were sending groups to help with the earthquake victims.
So the commander of the unit, the army unit that is sent to do humanitarian help all over the world, the commander of it grew up here in Kiryat Arba, where I live.
Okay, well, that's a good neighborhood then.
It's a great neighborhood. And a few weeks ago, there was how shall we say it, an event, a reunion of sorts of people who grew up in Kiryat Arba. Now, I didn't grow up in Kiryat Arba and Hebron. I grew up in Queens. But I said, hey, I got some time and I know some of these people and it's probably going to be interesting. And you know, anything about it's where I live now. So I went to it, and this gentleman was one of the people who spoke there. Then last week, he was featured in a national newspaper, a small national newspaper that has it's a weekly that features somebody, a mid-sized VIP, and so he was featured there as the guy who runs around and helps people. And sure enough, I'm sure that he's already on his way to Turkey already.
Well, I think it's a wonderful thing. And to me, it's a way of fulfilling the mitzvah of loving your neighbor and the stranger as yourself. You don't have to agree with government policies to help people.
Right.
So Turkey and Syria are both neighbors and strangers. So I think it's a wonderful thing to have that inbred in the person of repairing the world, making the world a better place, loving your neighbor, the stranger as yourself. Because this is what God has done for us. So when we're doing that, we're reflecting his nature and his character, and that's a good thing.
I'll tell you, I just wrote down a question for myself, but I will first let you ruminate. Is that the right word on it? Think about it.
Ruminate. That's good.
And then I'll think about it too. The question is, do we help others because it is a commandment or because it's good PR?
Well, if it's the last answer, I hope that would not be the correct answer. I think that we help other people, obviously, because God commanded it for us to do this, love your neighbor as yourself. But
just one second. In Haiti, or wherever it's called, so I don't even know where it is in the world. Is Haiti in Africa and South America?
No, it's not. It's not in Africa. So
wherever it is, it's far away from Israel. Yet
yeah.
Israel sends this troop to there, and I'm sure that they spend millions of shekels on each one of these things. Now, is that a requirement of the state of Israel as a commandment from God?
I can't answer that question. The only thing I can say from my own personal life is, yes, it's a commandment from God. And as a Christian person, God helps me want to do that by putting those desires in my heart. So I would not do that because it's an external command, but because God has written that command on my heart and given me that desire to want to do that.
But let's say you want to do it for an external reason, for I forget the famous term, an ulterior motive, if it were. Like, for example, to give a donation to a nonprofit organization, to some sort of a campaign. So there are a million campaigns going on. But this one, your mother or your best friend said, "Come on, Richard, do me a favor, make a foundation." All right, I'll give it to you for you. So are you doing it for him, or you're doing it because it's the right thing? Or let's say you're at a dinner and everybody says, "Ooh, look at that! Richard also gave a donation." You know, some people give an anonymous donation, but there's no question that a lot more people give a donation. They say, "You see, I did it. I'm a good guy," and other people should see that also. Is that good or not good?
Well, it helps the organization getting the donation, of course, but that is your reward in itself, not on the other side of life. You've just got your own reward by the praise of men and not the praise of God, because you were doing it for the wrong motives.
So in Judaism, we have a phrase, mitoch shelo lishma ba lishma. If you do something not for the right reason, then you will ultimately come to do that for the right reason. Or there's more of a chance that you'll ultimately come to do it for the right reason.
Would you say that again? I didn't
I'll
quite
say
get
it
that.
in Hebrew and in English.
No, just
Mitoch
explain what it means.
Yes, mitoch shelo lishma ba lishma. If you do something not for the pristine, correct reason, you will, by training yourself to do that, come to do it for the right reason.
Only God knows a person's heart. It's possible, of course, and hopefully that would happen in a person's life. When Samuel went to anoint one of Jesse's sons to be king, he saw all these handsome big guys. This surely this is the right one, And God said, no. Finally got down to the little shepherd boy who was the least likely candidate. And of course, you know where this story goes.
Yeah.
And the story is that the teaching is man looks on the outward appearance, but God looks on the heart. So there are many, many good things that people can do, but not for the right motives. And if they do good things, but not for the right motives, that is their reward in itself. But as far as pleasing the Father in heaven, they don't get that doesn't please him for the wrong reasons. So we always have to examine our heart to see why are we giving this? Is it because it's in our heart to help these people, or because we want our name on the plaque on the wall? So if you have your name on the plaque on the wall, if that's the reason you gave, that's not an honorable reason. If they put your name on the plaque on the wall to honor you, and that wasn't you didn't care about that, then that's fine. Somebody else is just recognizing your support.
You sound like you're talking yes, no, on, off. I think that there could be various different reasons and motives, and some are better than others. And whenever we do anything, there might be a conglomerate of different kinds of reasons and motives, and there might be some negative motives. In other words, I'm going to give a donation in order to make that guy that I don't like really feel bad.
My friend,
I don't know that again, I'm not here to judge anybody. But
human beings are very complex.
Exactly.
And this is why unless God shows us supernaturally what's in a person's heart, which he can do that, we don't judge people's motives. We do judge their actions,
right?
But not their motives, because only God knows the motives of the heart.
So many people,
interesting. Yes,
I think that your you're buckling down, if that's the right word, doubling down about saying it's better it's better not to do good deeds with a bad motive. You're not going to.
I didn't say that.
Let me try to fix that. God likes and rewards things done with the proper motive of fulfilling his will. And if somebody is trying to get some other reward, then they get that reward, but not God's reward.
That's what I'm trying to say. And it's a good thing if they have somebody, but if they're doing it for the wrong reasons, that the praise from men that they get is their reward, but not from God in heaven above.
I'm grateful to hear that, because I don't remember ever hearing that way of describing this that idea in this discussion. I've had this discussion numerous times, but again, from my understanding, and maybe I'll do a little homework, or maybe not. I think that the Jewish perspective, based on that phrase that we hear all the time, is and again, another phrase in Hebrew is acharei hamaasim nimshachim halevavot. After or following the actions, there goes the heart. In other words, if you do actions, your actions will train your heart. And if you at the beginning say, I don't really want to give charity, but you say, okay, I got to give it, all right, I'll give it. I don't give it. Okay, I'm giving it. Okay, I'm used to giving it. You know what? I really like this. That's the only way you're going to get. Not the only way, but the idea here is that is a good way to train yourself in proper behavior and proper attitudes.
It's a very real possibility. Now, if someone gives to our ministry, we'll certainly be glad to accept their support, because we need it. But we'll let God judge the motive for their giving. That's
between them and God.
Yes, we're not going to turn them away if they're giving for the wrong reasons. But at the same time, we're not going to put their name on the plaque unless we discern that they're really honorable in their giving, and we're just wanting to recognize them and honor them properly. But that would come from us, not because the person wants it.
We're spending time here on fundraising tactics and strategies, but a plaque is a well-known. It's really thousands of years old that somebody who gives a donation, they get their name on the wall.
I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying whatever the motives are, God looks at that.
All right.
No, it's not wrong to have your name on the plaque on the wall. That's nothing wrong with that at all. If the receiving organization wants to honor you in that way, and that's fine. But if you're giving so you can have your name on the plaque on the wall, that's a different issue.
So, like I said,
hey, you said ruminate, right? So Selah, pause and meditate.
We got a few ideas there going.
So
anyway, back to the hurricane up in Turkey. I heard that there were 2 hurricanes at a 7 point something on the Richter scale, which is very strong. And I heard that over 100 people have died, and it's very tragic. And I wasn't on the news all day long like I used to be a long time ago. But I think I might have heard even that Netanyahu himself said that if we will be allowed to, we are certainly open to going and helping the Syrians also. Now, like, we barely have a worse enemy than the Syrians nowadays, but we want to help the individuals.
Well, as you well know, in more recent times,
Mm-hmm.
Christians with the cooperation from the Israeli government have had humanitarian aid places on the Syrian border,
Right.
helping Syrian people coming across the border to get aid. So I think when it says love your enemy as yourself, it means help people when you can, but it doesn't mean that you would allow the Syrian army to come in and kill you all while you're trying to help these people. That's not what it means. So
Love your enemy as yourself. Is that what Jesus said when he said, "I heard that you've said love your neighbor as yourself, but I say even love your enemy as yourself"? Do you remember where that's from?
no, that's what your book says in Leviticus 19.
I don't know. I think it might have been a slip of the tongue. It says, "Love your neighbor as yourself, not your enemy as yourself."
No, it says the stranger, Leviticus
Right,
19.
and the stranger is certainly not an enemy.
No, that's true. That's true. Yes.
Jesus but I think that I think that the world, in spite of 2 steps back, 1 step forward, I think that the world is growing in its what's the word, ethics and morals, and I think that we are able now to lower the horror of war, and since, like, for example, democracies have, I understand that democracies have not been at war with each other for hundreds of years, or so, not hundreds of years, but about 100 years or something like that. And I think that the human race is getting better and better, not in a small part because of the biblical education that is spreading thanks to God's messengers, the Jewish people and the Christian people.
Well, from your mouth to God's ears, I hope you're right.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I have to go. I have another meeting soon, and we're also coming up to the end of the time here. I'd just like to say that sunset changes every day, the time of sunset. And I like to pray the evening prayer when we now pray at sunset, more or less. So this week, the prayer is sunset is at about, well, it's not sunset, it's about 20 minutes after sunset, 25. I think today it's at 6 p.m. and now it's 6:11. So I couldn't go to don't worry about it. I made sure that I have another evening prayer to go to. You can go to it all night long. So today's not a problem. But in the future, next week, for example, might even be 6:05. So I'm wondering if we could change our time to earlier.
What time would work for you?
Maybe 4 p.m. Israel time, which is 8 a.m. Texas time. Would that work for you? Maybe it sounds a little bit early.
Why not? I'm up early anyway.
If you're up early, I don't want to. Sometimes people say, when I'm really crazy, or I really think that's very important, I'll get up like at 4 o'clock to talk to somebody. But I don't like them. Sometimes people make an appointment with me at like 2 o'clock in the morning their time. I say, are you crazy? So that's what I like to do. But if that's okay, so I will send you an invitation already, and we'll change it to 4 o'clock. You know what? 1 second. No. No. Ordinarily, I pray the afternoon prayer at 1:30 in the afternoon, and my evening prayers, my afternoon in the Senate in my community, afternoon and evening prayers are like 45 minutes between each other, I think. So today, for example, it was 5. Well, let me see what it was. 1 second. Yeah. Mincha was at 5 p.m., the afternoon prayer, and Arvit was at 5:45 today. So next week it might be 5:05 and then 5:50 or something, or maybe 5 minutes earlier. In any case, the 5 o'clock prayer is not a big deal for me because I pray the 5 o'clock, I pray the afternoon prayer at 1:30. So what we really need to do is to make sure that we're done by like 5:30. So that means 5:35, 4:45 would be a good time. 1 second. 4:45 my time. Which would be 8:45 your time. Is that less difficult?
I will already have 2 cups of coffee by then, so 8:45 will be nice.
8:48. Okay, so I will check. Let me do that now so I don't make a mistake, even though they don't need to see this. I'm moving this to 4:45. Hope I got it right. Did I say 45? Yeah, I got it wrong. 4:45, I said. This is following events. Okay. And I will send it to you and hope that I sent it right.
So is it going to be 8:45?
Next week will be 8:45.
That'll be great.
Okay, I'll see you then, sir.
Okay. Have a nice prayer.
Shalom, shalom. Bye-bye.